With its original incarnation entering the public sphere way back in 1992, Mortal Kombat has become one of the most controversial and lucrative multimedia franchises to ever exist. After a few false starts, this upcoming Friday will finally see the release of a brand new Mortal Kombat live-action movie, something that many of us currently in our 30s and 40s have been begging for ever since 1997's Mortal Kombat Annihilation nearly gave the motion picture arm of the MK franchise the kiss of death. Despite all of this, early disputes between the original creators and producer-distributor Midway nearly led to a completely different game starring the muscles from Brussels himself, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm ThinkSoJoE, this is Things You Might Not Know, and in this week's video, I'll be telling you all about how JCVD almost performed a fatality on modern fighting games. With development beginning in 1991, Mortal Kombat was the baby of artist and video game designer John Tobias. Prior to working for Midway, Tobias was a comic book artist, with the most significant title under his belt being The Real Ghostbusters. I've actually previously done a video on that particular franchise, so be sure to go back and check that one out when you're done here. After being hired by Midway, his first big hit was the arcade version of Smash TV. Riding high off of that success, John Tobias began work on a mystical kung fu fighting game that he intended to be a direct competition to Capcom's already successful game series Street Fighter. Along with actors Richard DeVizio, Daniel Pesina, and Carlos Pesina, all of whom would feature in the Mortal Kombat finished product, John put together a demo to present to the head of Midway, who at the time was Ed Boon. While the idea of a fighting game was well received by Boon, the original vision presented by John Tobias was roundly rejected by many of the higher-ups at Midway. I suppose this proves that being in charge does not, in fact, make you smart. The main point of ire was that none of them believed that it would be financially successful without a big name behind it. And who was bigger in martial arts in the early 90s than Jean-Claude Van Damme? For those of you yelling the name Chuck Norris right now, my question was rhetorical as I already gave the only correct answer: deal with it. On top of that Van Damme name power, the bosses at Midway wanted a game that was considered to be more mature and serious than the other, more cartoonish fighting games that existed at that time. Luckily for the original Mortal Kombat team, JCVD said no. To be fair, he was pretty busy at the time making movies such as Universal Soldier. During this time, Street Fighter II blew up in popularity, and Midway was forced to circle back around to the original idea presented for Mortal Kombat. After all, time and money had already been spent, and they needed to get something to market to stay relevant. Unfortunately, by this point, John Tobias was feeling pretty defeated by the entire Van Damme fiasco, so he was understandably unmotivated to pick up the project again. Getting all of this going would take the convincing of Richard DeVizio, who went on to be the actor who portrayed Kano throughout the first 3 MK games. Instead of continuing to feel salty about everything that had transpired previously, Tobias and actor Daniel Pesina decided to poke fun at the entire situation and accidentally created an iconic character in the process. With a few small changes in order to make sure no one gets sued, the character of Johnny Cage was created as a parody of JCVD in his movie Bloodsport. Now that you know that, you'll never be able to unsee the similarities. Ironically enough, during a career lull just 2 years after the original MK release, Jean-Claude Van Damme went on to star in the accidentally hilarious and widely panned movie adaptation of the video game that Mortal Kombat was created specifically to compete with, Street Fighter. The Mortal Kombat video game series continues to be the most successful of all time, and would go on to spawn an additional 11 individual titles, selling over 54 million units by the end of 2020. The franchise has generated 3 live-action movies thus far: Mortal Kombat in 1995, Mortal Kombat Annihilation in 1997, and the aforementioned 2021 release, also titled Mortal Kombat. In 2010, director Kevin Tencharowin released an 8-minute short film titled Mortal Kombat Rebirth, starring Jerry Ryan and Michael J. White, which was meant to lead to yet another full-length movie. This is what led to years of development hell for the project until this year's movie was finally greenlit. Beyond this, Mortal Kombat characters and fatalities have been featured in comic books, novels, and even animation. Although all of this could have possibly been different if the dummies with the money had their way. By the way, if you've seen the trailer for the new film and you find yourself asking, "Where's Johnny Cage?" Well, back in 1995, gamers were asking themselves the same thing as details emerged surrounding the 3rd installment of the Mortal Kombat arcade game series. While I don't have an answer as to the whereabouts of Film Johnny, I can tell you exactly why Cage was missing from MK3 and its subsequent upgrade, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. In the mid-90s, amidst the success of the first two Mortal Kombat games, a plethora of similar games emerged, including Strata's 1994 offering Bloodstorm. An advertisement for the game depicted Daniel Pesina, who portrayed Cage in the first two games and subsequently left Midway, playing the game and proclaimed that Pesina had switched to Bloodstorm. The Johnny Cage character would be canonically killed by Shao Kahn's forces prior to the third game, though would reappear in the 1996 home console release Mortal Kombat Trilogy, now portrayed by Chris Alexander. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Things You Might Not Know. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can see a playlist of Things You Might Not Know videos over here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.